What's up? What's up? It's your girl Keisha Ravenel with We Inspire Brand, where we talk Black mental health, Black relationships, and starting your t-shirt business. Now, we have to get into this new Amazon Prime show, Harlem. Did y'all see the show? Oh my goodness. But before we get into it, give me a thumbs up, comment what you thought about the show. If you didn't see the show, then you need to go watch the show because we're gonna have some spoilers here. So let's get into it. I have my notes. Look, I got my notes because there's some stuff to unpack here. Like we have to unpack this stuff as Black women. Um let's get into it. So like I said, if you are on YouTube, I am also on Instagram Live. What's up, y'all? And let's talk about it, right? Let's get into it. So I'm going to talk about my dislikes first, and then I'll talk about my likes. Overall, I will say that the show was very entertaining. So if you didn't check it out, you could check it out. Like I recommend checking it out. I did laugh, at some point, and so it wasn't all bad, but there are some major points that I feel that we have to discuss as Black women, as okay, earring, like my earring doesn't want me to be great today, I see. Okay, that's what we doing. All right. So another reason I need to talk about this show is because it takes place in my hometown. It takes place in Harlem. Harlem, stand up. I love me some Harlem. I am always in Harlem. I am from the Bronx myself. I'm a Bronx girl, but absolutely love Harlem. It's just rich in Black culture, Black history. I love it. So just the fact that I saw them going to like different spots that I go to, they went to my hair salon. Like I was like, that's my hair salon that they're in. So like that was just pretty cool or whatever. And this is just like background stuff. So yeah, like it was cool seeing like my city, right? Like and seeing like all of the spots and seeing my city as an adult. Like, so that was cool. But but let's get into my dislikes about the show. My number one thing was there was not Black relationship representation, healthy Black relationship representation. I did not like that at all. I felt that, you had these messy Black women and that maybe couldn't keep a man, that was desperate for a man. You had one woman, she was a queer woman, I believe that's what the term that she used for herself. She was a queer woman. I did not see a healthy Black relationship between a man and a woman. And I feel that that is very important for our community. A healthy relationship, especially representation. Like we always talk about representation. Why couldn't that be represented on this show? So you had Camille, who was the main character, Megan Good's character. She had broke up with her boyfriend like maybe 5 years prior. And then she was just all focused on work. So she was focused on her career. She hadn't had a relationship since. And I'm like, okay, all right. And then you had the character Quinn. She was desperate for a man. And I'm like, okay, like why? Like, all right, she's desperate for a man. And all right, that was her character. Then you had the character Angie, who was very loud, and we'll get into that a little later. But all she talked about was sucking, you know what, and like hooking up and like all of this other stuff. And it's just like, okay. And then you had the character Ty, who was a queer woman. So there was no healthy relationship between a Black man and a Black woman. And there goes my earring again. So we're just going to leave it off. How about I take both of them off? I'm trying to be over here looking cute for y'all and stuff, and my earring just will not allow me to be great. So we're just going to take both of them off, and that's what we're going to do. So okay. So where was I? Ty, she was a queer woman, no healthy relationship between a Black man and a Black woman. Yes, I didn't like that. I wasn't feeling that at all, because I think about watching these type of shows like yes, as a Black woman, but I also think about like, what if I was a young Black woman watching the show? So, like, maybe 18 years old or like 21. I feel like watching this show, it wouldn't give me hope for a future with a man. And I know that like some people are probably saying, like, well, being in a relationship is not everything, and being married is not everything, and that's fine, but at the same time, like, that is something that a lot of women, Black women, we want. And we're not wrong for that. We're not wrong for wanting companionship from a Black man. We're not wrong for wanting to marry a Black man. Like, Black love is beautiful. Let's put that out there right now. Black love is absolutely beautiful, and Black marriage is beautiful. And it's okay to want that. It's okay to, see that in your future. So I want to know where that was in the show, because it didn't come up, and I can't help but compare it to the show Girlfriends. So let me know if y'all know the show Girlfriends. That was my show growing up. I used to love that show. And in the beginning, they did have a Black woman who was married to a Black man, and they had a Black child. So, you had the single Black women as well. So I felt like there was more representation across the board, where it was not for this show Harlem at all. And I was not feeling that. So let me know what y'all think about that not being like represented in the show. Like, do you think it's like, oh, well, it's because of entertainment? I feel like that's probably going to be a rebuttal. Like, oh, well, it's just entertainment. They have to have it like this because, like, they have to keep the interest of the people. But at the same time, like, I get entertainment, but we also have a responsibility. So I feel that we have a responsibility as Black people, whether you're in entertainment, whether you're in business, like whatever you're in, we have a responsibility to empower each other, to uplift each other, to represent each other. And the show just, it didn't do that for me, in my opinion. So let me know what y'all think in the comments, and remember to hit the thumbs up button, y'all. Now, another thing that I did not like was, as soon as the character Angie opened her mouth, the I was just like, no, no, like, you got to be kidding me. Like, this is what we're portraying, like the loud Black woman, like, okay. And then it wasn't just like how she was saying it, it's what she was saying, like, oh yeah, sucking this and doing that and hooking up, and it's like, okay, I get that there are some Black women out there like that, right? Like, there are. I can't front, there are. But it's like, if we're gonna have that, then why can't we show the Black love too? Why can't we show the Black marriage? Why are we showing, like I said, the desperate woman, the loud Black woman that is sucking this and doing that, and that? We showing that, but we're not showing the Black love. Like, I don't understand. Like, I really don't understand. So, like I said, the minute she opened her mouth, I was just like, eh. And then I had a conversation with one of my friends today, and she was like, yeah, and why is it that it's the chocolate sister that, is the loudest one? And I'm like, that's a good point. That is a good point. Yes, represent all sides. So, like I told you, I am on Instagram Live. I'm on YouTube as well. So I'm reading the comments from Instagram Live. Where is the balance? Exactly. Where is the balance? Can I get that shirt in blue? So somebody want my shirt in blue? Yes, you can go to my website, www.weinspiretees, that is tees.com. And I do have the shirt in blue. So thank you. And yes, represent all sides. It's important for us to represent all sides. So back to my friend that said, why is the chocolate woman the loudest? That is a good question. Like, why did it have to be her that was the loudest? And another thing that I noticed, she was the one that was pointing out racism the most. So if you watched it, every other character, they were basically saying in certain situations, like, oh, you should shut up about that. Like, you have to keep the peace in order to keep your job. And I'm like, oh, snap. Like, okay. But for her, she didn't really have a problem calling out certain things. And my issue with that is it's not only loud Black women that call out white supremacy, that call out racism, that call out the BS. So don't portray it as the people that call out these things is the loud woman that needs to be silenced. And that's what I didn't like, that she was loud. So because she was like the loud, like, quote unquote, ghetto chick, right? Because she was that woman, it's like, oh, just shut her up. Like, oh, you're doing too much. No, like, I did not like that. Like, I really didn't like that. So those are my two, like, huge, huge issues with the show, that I could think of. Like, those were like the most pressing for me. Um, and then there was something that came up about, like, interracial dating. The queer Black woman Ty, she was in an interracial relationship with the white woman. And interracial relationships, that's a whole nother story. Like, I do feel that in order for the black community to grow, to succeed, to do what we need to do mentally, physically, financially, emotionally, like, we need Black family. To leave legacy, we need Black family. So I'm gonna leave it at that. Like, whatever people say, love who you love, that's cool, do whatever you want to do. But if you want to see the Black community grow, like, I do believe that it should be Black family. And that's my opinion. That's what it is. I'm gonna leave it at that. Now, there are some things that I did like about the show. So, like, as you know, like I said in the beginning, I am a huge advocate for Black mental health, Black relationships, of course, and starting a t-shirt business. So, Black mental health, it did come up in the show. Now, I mean, so Camille, the main character, she didn't really go to her therapy sessions, but it was something that came up. So basically, she was missing therapy because she kept getting called in for work, or, something that was work related made her miss her therapy sessions. And I was just like, whoa, like, this is a good topic to touch on, because it's like you have to choose, right? Like, not you have to choose. She was choosing between work and therapy. So I want to know, like, what's more important to you guys, right? Keeping your job, because I understand that's your income, right? That's your bread and butter. So is keeping your job more important, or is your mental health more important? And her job was contributing to a lot of the mental health issues that she had. So a lot of the issues that she had was coming from her job. And then it's like she was missing therapy because of her job. It's like a catch 22, right? So what do you guys think? Like, what happens when you have to go to therapy, and you have to put your mental health first, but you can't do that because your job keeps stealing you away? And for me, what I'm going to say is I am a huge mental health advocate. So I recommend that you do prioritize therapy. So there are some things that you have to tell your job, like, look, I can't make it because I have this appointment, or I have this to do, or whatever. Why y'all ain't tell me the angle was like this on Instagram? I feel like I gotta switch up the angle a little bit. Okay, I think that looks better. All right, I look better, y'all. All right, I am enough. But yes, yes. All right, mental health. So make sure, especially if your job is contributing to your mental health issues, that you're prioritizing your therapy sessions. So it shouldn't be, oh man, I gotta miss therapy because I got this job and I got, like, no, I understand you have to pay the bills, but the job is not 24/7. So I would say schedule therapy after work, or right before work, or whatever it is. I think some of her therapy sessions were like right in the middle of the day, or it was like maybe before work, and then her boss would ask her, like, hey, um can you come into this meeting at this time? Say it's okay to say no. It's okay to say no to these jobs. Like, don't be a slave to these jobs, y'all. Like, I'm telling you, like, I'm coming up on my 3-month anniversary for quitting my job, which I'm really excited about. And I'm going to be doing a video about that too. So definitely stay tuned. But you have to prioritize your mental health. Like, and you have to learn how to say no. You have to learn that. Like, you have to put yourself first. We have to stop feeling like we owe our jobs everything. And I know you've heard this term before, you've heard this saying before, that if you die, your job is going to replace you like that. And guess what? I told you we're going to have spoilers. We're going to have spoilers about the show. So she was missing out on her therapy sessions because she wanted to go for this position that she never got. She was passed over for the position. She was there longer than the person that they hired for the position. And, she didn't get the position. So there she was, prioritizing a job that didn't prioritize her. And that's the problem. We have to stop prioritizing these things that are not pouring into us, that continues to overlook us. So once again, make sure you are prioritizing your mental health. Now, moving on, make sure you guys are hitting that thumbs up button. And I want to see your comments in the comment section. I can't wait to see and hear what you guys have to say about this new not Amazon, Amazon show, Harlem, which takes place in Harlem, New York City. As you know, I am from New York. I am a proud New Yorker. I am a proud Black woman from New York. So, I had to check out this show. Something else that I admired about the show was the controversy. So there were a few things that came up. And I was just like, the things that make you go, right? Like, it was one of those situations where it's just like, wow, like, what would I do in that situation? So the first thing was, there was this restaurant, a Black owned restaurant that was a staple in Harlem, in the show, not in real life. It was a staple in Harlem, and it got shut down. It not only got shut down, but then it was replaced by a white owned establishment. And that happens all too often in Harlem. My New Yorkers know that Harlem, it's super gentrified now, but we still have our Black owned establishments. But in the show, they started protesting, and Camille, the main character, she was protesting with other people about this white owned establishment coming to replace the Black owned establishment. So then she finds out that her ex-boyfriend, which she's still in love with, he's still in love with her, but he's getting married. It's a whole ordeal. So her ex-boyfriend, he is the head chef of this new white owned restaurant, and this is his big break. So her perspective was, wow, how could you do this? Like, this Black owned restaurant, this was a staple in our community, and you're from here, we're both from here. Like, how could you turn your back on the Black owned restaurant to be a head chef at the white owned restaurant? So his response was, and this is not verbatim, but his response was basically, well, I need this for me. I need this to build myself up so that I can later build my own restaurant for my people. And I was like, okay, that's a little twist, because I feel like often in the Black community, we do say, okay, well, it's all about supporting Black owned business, supporting Black owned business. And that is the case, right? Like, we do have to support each other. But do y'all think that it's wrong for him to support himself first and then support the Black community? And I don't know. I don't think it's wrong, because it's like, you have to have first before you pour into other people. So you have to build yourself up first before you can pour into, your community. So I was just like, wow, like I understood both sides. So I was like, that's a tough one. Like that's tough. Like I get what she was saying about like the restaurant being a staple, but it's that's tough. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. I have a heck no. Yeah, like I feel like you do have to, build yourself up first. And for me, um, I'm not one to not learn from people of other communities just because I'm Black and I want to pour into my community. So for example, one of one of the trainings that I paid money for, and a mentor, she's kind of like a, not really a mentor, but she helped me with my business a little bit, but it's not like a consistent thing. Doesn't matter. Point is that I paid her for her services, and she's not a Black woman. She's actually a white woman, but she knew what she was doing, and I'm like, well, I can learn from her, and then I can take this information back to my people and build them up and help them grow. So that was my mentality. And I feel like that was Ian's mentality in the show as well, where it's just like, all right, well, I have to build me up in order to build up my Black community. So I definitely get that, but it's just like, dang, that was a tough spot to be in. um Help himself so that he can help others, his people. Yes, for sure, I agree. You have to, you can't just like think you're going to help your people without building yourself up. So I definitely agree with that. The last point that I liked, and I was just like, wow, like I like that they had this controversy. um this another comment before we get into it. Jay-Z said, I can't help the poor if I'm one of them. So I got rich and gave back to me. That's the win-win. Food for thought. Yes, yes, that's so true. You can't help somebody if you're on the same level as them. So I love that. I agree with that. Um, the last point. So now we have a situation where, so Camille, she had the ex-boyfriend. The ex-boyfriend, he is now engaged, and they're still in love or whatever the case is, right? Now, her friend Quinn, one of her best friends, she's a designer. The fiance of the ex-boyfriend Ian, of Camille's ex-boyfriend, she asked if Quinn, the best friend, could make her wedding dress. Quinn agreed because the fiance was willing to pay Quinn $25,000, and Quinn was in a bind for her business. Like the rent was getting very expensive, and like she couldn't keep up with her store. So she agreed. That caused tension between Quinn and Camille, because it's like, how could you make my ex-boyfriend's fiance's wedding dress, and how I still feel about him, and all of that stuff. So what do y'all think? Like, do y'all think like y'all would have took the money, or like y'all would have like wrote it out with your friend, like, nah, I'm riding for my friend because that is my friend, and I'm supposed to be loyal to my friend. So do you think it was like shady, or do you think it's like, yo, it's all business? So that's another thing that stuck out to me where I was just like, oh, that's a tough spot to be in. But I will say, if I was Camille, I probably, not Camille, if I was Quinn, I probably would have taken the money. That's number one. But I definitely would have had a conversation with my friend, right? Like sooner than later, because it got blown up. And go watch the show. I'm not gonna like tell everything. Um, but yeah, I feel like that's business, right? It's business. And I think I would have had a conversation with my friend, like, look, she's offering me this, my business is in a bind, and I really need this money in order to keep my business open. So, and I'm saying that because I'm not in the situation, so I don't know, but I feel like if I was Camille, then maybe I would have said like, oh, you know what? Like you got to do what you got to do. Like it's your business. She giving you 25K. I can't give you 25K. So do what you got to do. But I don't know. Like anytime I say something, I'm like, dang, like would I have done that? I'm really not sure. So that's why I liked those situations because it's like, it's real. Like it's like, well, what would you do in these type of situations? Like, what would you do if you needed the money and it was just like, dang friend, like what would you do? Someone says stay loyal, you'll get blessed later. If the friend doesn't want her to work with the girl, the friend needs to help her keep the business open. Okay, that's what I was saying, right? Like, I mean, like, is the friend gonna help her with the business? Like, business is business at the end of the day. Like, it's not personal, right? So, that's a lot. But if you haven't watched the show, I do recommend you watch the show. It is very entertaining, but watch it with the mindset that like there is an agenda, right? We all know that like there's an agenda, and I want to hear your thoughts. Like I want to hear your thoughts about it in the comment section. So like, share, subscribe, and let me know what you think. The show is called Harlem. It is on Amazon Prime. And I must say, like, I would watch the second season just because it was entertaining, but understanding that I'm not comparing my life to this. I don't relate to any of the Black women on that show. Like, I can't see myself as one of those Black women. Like, no, absolutely not. And yeah, so go check it out, and you can check me out if you need inspiration and you need to reclaim your confidence. Check out my apparel, my I Am Enough apparel at www.weinspiretees, that is tees.com. If you are looking to start your profitable t-shirt business and turn your passion and purpose into a t-shirt business, then you can check me out at www.weinspirebrand.com, and I will help you start your t-shirt business. But other than that, I am out. Later.